Here. Like to welcome each one here tonight. Like to begin by acknowledge the land which we gathered is traditional territory of Nishnawbe, Ottawa, and Mississauga peoples. And today is the National Day of Remembrance, honoring the lives of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Confirmation of the agenda that the Council of Township of North Huron hereby approves the agenda for May 5th, 2025 council meeting as presented. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Are there any? None noted. 4, consent agenda that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopts the consent items 4.1.1 and further that the Council of Township of North Huron hereby receives consent items 4.1.2 to 4.316 for information purposes. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, seconder, Councillor Whitfield. Would anybody like to pull anything from these items? Councillor Palmer?
It's just a comment. It was nice to see a plethora of motions rejecting the strong mayoral powers. And I'm hoping that increases more every month.
Okay. Any others? Public meetings, all in favor? Carried. This time we're having our public meeting. We'll ask Lisa Harper from United Way to come forward. 2024 campaign and Northern Huron Connection Center update. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Reeve Heffer and Council. And I send my regrets on behalf of Ryan Erb, our Executive Director. He had 2 other meetings he had to be at tonight, so he was flipping coins. So I am here on my own this evening. So just an update on what has been happening at the Northern Huron Connection Center here in town. So I just want to give you an update. So the center opened in June of 2023. And it currently runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from noon till 5, each of those days. It is operated by CMHA here in Perth, formerly Choices for Change. And United Way, our part in this initiative is that we fund it. We find the funds to run the center. And those funds come in via corporate, individual giving, and our coldest night of the year event that I'm going to mention briefly later. And sorry, I am remiss. I want to start with a thank you for your continued support of the center. Not requesting funds this evening, just doing an update. A very big part of what happens at the center involves our volunteers and donations. So donations, hygiene items, coats, boots, mitts, always welcome. And last year we had 50 volunteers who contributed over 200 hours of volunteer service to the center. Try this again. Okay. So this is the big thing. If you take anything away from the report tonight, it's this page. So total visits from June 2023 when it opened to December 31st, 2024, they have had over 1,100 people go through the doors at the Connection Center. We knew the need was there. We just didn't realize how great it was. And of those visits, 98 were unique visitors. Eviction preventions, there were 10 folks through the assistance of the center that were prevented from being evicted from their current home. 45 people were assisted with documentation. And what that means is if they've lost their health card, their driver's license, anything along that lines, they can go in and CMHA is going to help them retrieve those documents. And we had 35 people added to the by name list. And the biggest stat, so that is about 15 months, is that through the work of CMHA, 20 people who were homeless or living rough have been housed. through the Connection Center. And that's a combination of permanent housing and transitional housing. For example, there's a young gentleman who had been homeless for about over a year, and he is now at Turning Point in Exeter, which is a transitional housing for men in Exeter, and he's doing really quite well. And he has his own spot now, and he's on his way to recovery. Our coldest night of the year event that we run every year in February was astounding this year. Our goal was 30,000 and we brought in just under 40. We were thrilled. We had about 120 people. We had 20 teams. We had over 30 volunteers help us to run it. And we're going to do it again on February 28th, 2026. We're going to up that goal. We don't know by how much at this point, but we're going to try and raise it and see what we can do. So again, very, very successful. And all funds raised through the Coldest Night of the Year event go towards the maintenance and operation of the Connection Center. So a couple of ways that you can stay up to date yourselves on the Connection Center is the Wingham Coldest Night of the Year group on Facebook. And the Connection Center now has their own Facebook page, which is fantastic. And they do a really good job of keeping it updated. They quite often post lists of what they need, items that they might need. Back around Christmas time, they actually had to shut donations down because they just didn't have space for everything that was coming in. But that has reopened and they're always welcoming items to come in. Okay, so that is the end of the presentation. Again, the biggest part was the sharing of those stats. Any questions or comments?
Okay,
Anita.
thank you, Lisa, very much. Go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson,
Yes,
please.
thank you, Lisa, for your presentation. Can you explain to me what the by name list is?
Oh, so the by name list is a list of folks who are living rough or who are homeless. And how that works is if someone's name goes on that, and it's based out of Huron County, it's a county-wide list. And so if, Bob, for example, has been coming into the Connection Center every day for a month, his name's on that list, they don't see him for a week, they can go to that by name list, do some searching and see if they can connect with him to make sure that he is okay. So that by name list is essentially a checklist of folks who might be living rough in the area. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And does that include the unique visitors, or are they on the unique visitors list, or is that is it?
They're all,
connected?
yeah. Yeah,
you.
everyone's on that list. That's a great question. Thank you.
Councillor Palmer, please.
Thank you, Reeve, and through you. Lisa, just wondering about the eviction prevention. I'm wondering how that works. I'd hate to see the owner of the room or the house put out in any way.
I don't know the logistics of it myself, but I do know that in those cases where it's been prevented, folks have come into the center months before that eviction is going to happen. And the folks at CMHA are talking with landlords. They're talking with, if folks are on ODSP or Ontario Works, they'll be talking with those organizations as well, and trying to make those connections, let them know the person's situation so that they can take a look down the line. They know what's coming in money-wise, and they just work together to make sure that that person doesn't end up out on the street. We did have an example at our last meeting, somebody shared, there is a senior couple in town where the husband is going to be going into long-term care, and the wife does not know how she's going to pay for long-term care and stay in their home. So they have connected them with the Connection Center, and we're hoping through the work of the center that that's not going to be a case where she ends up out on the street. Thank you.
Any other questions from, go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
Yes, thanks, Reeve. Do you have any idea what the remaining need is in the Wingham area for homeless people? Like how many homeless people there are right now?
By count right now, if I'm not mistaken, I think we're sitting between 15 to 20, probably closer to 20 at this point. again, that's just in talks that we've had with the CMHA folks. Again, if they don't, release any personal information, but they do share numbers with us. And I do know that in March, they had 50 people go through in March, through the center in March. Laundry facilities are always being used, washroom facilities, shower facilities always being used. And so, yeah, by the best count, my guess is between 15 to 20 at this point.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. I just had one here. You said the coldest night of the year brought in about 40 grand.
Yes.
And that, you said that covers the maintenance and operation. Does it pretty well cover what's needed
The
with that?
cost, that covers about half. It costs about 90,000 to run that for the year. Part of that is wages, of course. The church has been really fantastic. They're supplying them with Wi-Fi to help out with computers if folks need to make use of the computer. So they're really working well with the church to cover some of those costs. But some of those costs include, well, the heat, the hydro, food and supplies. They use some of that money towards food and supplies. And there is a portion of it that is staffing as well. And I don't know the number on that. Okay, so.
Thank you. Well, if there's no other questions then, I appreciate your update to us and thank you very much.
Good. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Take care.
We'll move on to 6.1.1 CL 2025-09 Wingham BIA Downtown Video Surveillance Initiative Update and Draft Video Surveillance Policy. So at this time, are there any questions for Director Lamb, or I see our counselor on BIA, Wright is here, that maybe any questions? I'll turn it over to members now. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Reeve. I'll maybe just say a couple words on behalf of the Wingham BIA. We really thought it was a really good meeting we had with staff. I think the recommendation that they provided is actually an advantage over has advantages over our original thoughts. It gives individual businesses the option of how they use the cameras, where they position cameras, where their needs are. And as well as, solves some, let's just call it legislative issues that would have existed with the original plan. So everyone on the people that were at the meeting from the BAA were all supportive of staff's idea on this. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Are there, Councillor Palmer, please?
Thank you, Reeve. Yeah, just wondered about, well, individuals walking the street, walking the sidewalks. Do we have any idea about, what they think about being surveilled? I'm almost want to say that people are quite used to it by now, but maybe not in a small town. So do we know that? Did BIA do a survey or anything?
No, the BIA wouldn't do a survey like that, right? But basically our customers are the individual business owners, right? And these cameras are all going to be located on private property, like on the stores themselves. So there is no there is no, the privacy legislation does not cover situations like this when it's privately owned and operated cameras.
Clerk Lamb, did you want to add anything to that?
Through your worship, to Councillor Palmer's question, I guess through the research that we did in the clerk's department, the IPC does have a number of recommendations in regard to purpose of collection and not over collecting of information, personal information and video surveillance data. So yeah, you have to define that needs, particularly if it's a public sector who's collecting it. This is more private sector. It's no difference than someone putting a camera up at their house. But we certainly did do some research, and through the BIA, the township can provide those recommendations to the businesses.
Thank you. Okay, I need a mover. Mover, please. Councillor Wright, seconder. Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. 6.1.2, North Huron removal of barriers to accessibility strategy. Are there any questions for Director Lamb with his report? Councillor Palmer, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I was almost shocked when I saw the recommendation or suggestion that a ramp out at the town hall isn't maybe wide enough. That it was built to at least minimum standard of OEDA, right? But it was kind of wished upon it was wider. I'm trusting that nothing's going to happen there, and maybe color at the transitions. That's a good idea. I was just wondering where you're going to take that.
Yeah, through your worship to Councillor Palmer's question. So the committee that did the site review also did plans consultation at the time. So that any comments they provided at the original time were taken into account when the architects did the design work. I believe in the strategy itself for solution, and it says not applicable at this time. And everything in there are what I would consider best practices for the most part, as opposed to legislative compliance. Because we do know we've done our AODA compliance reporting, we are compliant, but again, there's a difference between being compliant and being accessible. So really the intent of the strategy is so that we have some sort of roadmap to create accessible spaces and accessible services. And the Huron County Accessibility Advisory Committee, they have only so much capacity to do reviews of our facilities and services. So the intent is that we're going to have them continue to chip away at all our different buildings and trails and open spaces and services over time. And then that way we have a full picture on how to remove barriers to accessibility that go beyond the legislation. Just helps build a plan or things to consider as we do some of these reconstructions of space or revitalizations. So yeah, you'll obviously note in this strategy that the ones where they've done the walkthroughs have many more recommendations than the ones where they haven't yet. But we'll continue to build that strategy through their expertise.
Thank you. Deputy Reeve, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Through you, Reeve, just to answer the question on the width of the ramp. The width of the ramp is in compliance with the regulation. As you recall, that we had to retender the railing second time. So the railing that's positioned on now is placed on top of the ramp. The original ramp was to be on the outside of the ramp, so that narrowed the pathway inside. It was just a change in the ramp design or the railing design through a second process that came in being too narrow. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor McBurney, please.
In regards to accessibility with our Legion, for example, wheelchairs are getting bigger. We got people can't get into our Legion because the size of the we did ours 210s.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for our clerk? Seeing none, I need a mover, please. Deputy Reeves, seconder. Councillor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. This time we'll go to 6.3.1. RC 2025-05 Reciprocal Use of Community Facilities Agreement, Avon Maitland District School Board and Huron Perth Catholic District School Board. And with this report, are there any questions for Director Stison at this time? It's quite an extensive report there laid out. My only question was the past is what that on cured, but that spoke that all out in the report. So seeing none, I'll take a mover. Counselor Van Henderson, seconder. Counselor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence requiring action or direction. 7.1, Ramin of the Blythe Pharmacy requests for extension of the commercial facade improvement grant. That the Council of Township of North Huron hereby approves a final extension of the timeline for completion of the commercial facade improvement grant project for 442 Queen Street, Blythe until July 31st, 2025. Before we open up for questions, we have a mover. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so council's, through your worship, so council's seen, one similar request before. So under the, agreements we execute with the businesses, they have 18 months to complete the work. This one, needs a little bit of extra time, to finish that. And so, it'll give 3 extra months. And similar to the previous ones we've done, we, make this clear that it's final extension, but the funds for the project are already allocated to it through previous budget processes. So the funds are sitting there, but seeking a little extra time to complete the commercial facade work that they have approved.
Good. With that, any questions at all for our clerk? Seeing none, may I have a mover? Counselor Palmer, Counselor McBurney, all in favor? Carried. Council reports, the Reeves activity report, very quiet again. I just like to take this time and tip our hats to Fire Chief Krager for the fish fry they had here a week ago Sunday, and yeah, it was delicious. But all the monies raised there, they go to the Canada Day fireworks. And again, it's good to see all the firemen down there working, helping out. And they even offered jobs too, if you want to be, take a bit extra time there. But yeah, so another one was Almost Famous, is that had a play in town here at our town hall on Sunday. And now it's got one on Tuesday and Thursday. And so if you get a chance to want to go, I know a lot of families make use of this, and they do fill that place up pretty good for those 3 nights. And again, it's just great to see all the volunteers that help out with this, these young people, and just how the smiles there is just a highlight of their year, I'm sure. And I also like to take time to thank Maitland Valley Conservation Authority for the planting of along the river of the different shrubs there and whatnot. And there's going to be some more work going on there from them. And so that is great to see that, because we see how many of the fishermen are down there each morning. It's just great to see that. So those are my points. I just wondered, any council member, board and committee reports, verbal or written upgrade dates from members who sit on boards and committees. Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, on April 28th, there was a meeting with the Columbus Center, and we had the CAO and Director of Works and myself and 3 of their people and a secretary. And we discussed, I'm going to keep this very brief because there will be a report coming in the future. We discussed items that were basically worn out or wearing out. It's basically 20-year-old items. So anyways, we looked at them, we discussed them, and we discussed how to deal with the cost of the repair. So there will be a report, as I said. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? If not, we'll go to comments by members. Seeing none. Notice motion. Any notice of motion? Seeing none. Okay, bylaw number 31, 2025. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Henderson, seconder. Oh, sorry, Deputy Reeve, thank you. All in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 32-2025. appointment of animal control officers. May I have a mover? Counselor McBurney, Counselor Palmer, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 33, 2025, appointment of Director of Fire and Public Safety. May I have a mover? Counselor Whitfield, Counselor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Next meetings and announcements. Next regular council meeting will be here May 20th, held on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Next BIA for the Wingham will be on Thursday, May 15th at 6:30 at the Hot Stove Lounge right here at the complex. And next Blythe BIA board meeting will be held on Thursday, May 29th, 2025 at 8 a.m. in the first floor meeting room at the Blythe and District Community Center. Are there any other announcements? Seeing none. No other business. We're going to number 12 now, closed session and reporting out that the Council of the Township of North Huron proceeds at 6:26 to an in-camera session closed to the public under section 239(2)(e) and K of the Municipal Act to discuss the following: litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, legal matters update, and a position plan procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local boards, theater operations service agreement negotiations. And further, that the CAO remains for items 1 and 2, Director of Legislative Service / Clerk, items 1 and 2, and the Township Solicitor remain for item 1. Thank you very much. We have a mover, Councillor Van Henderson, Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. We'll take a